Hello and welcome back to Napoleon Total War. The game I want to show you today is a part of the recently going on Heroes and Generals tournament. Again a 2v2 tournament and again hosted by Unity Landser. The previous one was hosted by him and Unity Philip. This time, it's a pretty similar tournament with pretty much the same winning zones. To some maps there have been some changes to the winning zones, but the main change overall is that the teams got matched up, like the team compositions got matched up randomly, so you could not say, well, I want to play with my friend, but there was a group 1 and a group 2, and out of those two groups the teams got built up randomly. So I was very lucky and I got teamed up with Unity Dinci, a very good player. He plays as Austria here in this game. On Pyreneese Peak we chose defender side and wanted to defend this middle area. The whole hill area here in the middle is a winning zone, so we want to defend our side here with those forests. As I said, he plays Austria with some 5 Uhlans, the 3-star general, all the DLC units, 4 Grances, 1 Landwehr and a lot of Hungarians. I play as France with 6 Schülerkampf, Chasseur Cheval, and my standard army with a small change, as I said, with 6 Chasseur Cheval, and I replaced 1 Swiss foot with 1 more Polish Legion, so I have 4 Polish Legions, the Brave Regiment, 2 Old Guards, 2 Swiss foot, and 3 Voltigious. Our opponents are the organizer of the tournament, Unity Landser, here with Sweden, and his teammate FDF with France as well. So it's very good that Dinci has a force with the 3-star general and also the Hungarians, because they have better moral, and the French troops are very strong in moral and also have these intimidating factors of the Old Guard. Lancer plays a lot of Schülerkampf, 6 of them as well, so 6 mounted Jägers, 4 guards, 2 militia, a lot of line infantry and the classic general stuff, and we will maybe have a look at the French army as well as soon as we can see it. We have some Fusiliers, Polish Legions, the 6th Regiment and Old Guards here visible, and the Braves. Let's go. So it's not so clear which side is better on this map. At the attacker side has some advantages. They have the opportunity to go up here pretty fast, since this hill is not that hard to climb for your troops, while this one is, as you can see. So the attackers arrive here on this plateau faster and have the opportunity to reach this forest at pretty much at the same time or even faster than the defenders. So this is the grand risk from defender side, that people, especially with Schülerkampf, occupy this forest and basically deny you to get your army up here on the hill. And they did this, but lucky for me, not Landser did this with his Schülerkampf, but FDF with his Chasseur Cheval, and he sent them through the forest here, which slowed him down. Also he deployed his Chasseur Cheval in the formation of his infantry, so his formation is a bit in chaos. By this he will not be able to shoot with all at all, or at least not with all men here in the front row. So I have my chasseur cheval already here in position almost. You see my deployment here, and Dinci is also ready with his Uhlans to help me, while Lancer has only this one, possibly 2 units of his cavalry being ready to engage me, while all his other troops here are kind of useless for the moment for this fight here in the middle. So the French cavalry arrives, and I get a very good shot off on the first unit, and also on the second one over here. While he is not able to shoot, Dinci already charges his Uhlans into the French ranks before they can shoot him, so that's also nice. And I charge in melee against the remnants of those chasseurs cheval, so they will not be able to shoot at all anymore. Lancer has some mounted Jägers over here ready to shoot me now, but only those 2 still. And the first French cavalry units are already out. Dinci does a wonderful job in charging down the rest of them. I try to melee those mounted Jägers so they are not able to shoot me anymore. And Dinci goes on charging with his Uhlans into the upcoming French Swiss foot units. Lancer tries to stop my Polish legions from reaching this forest, but I formed the squares and can target his Schütterkraft back now. I retreat my my troops over here. Dinci charged a bit too far. He could have retreated his and by this saved his Uhlans at this point, but now it's too late. But I think they do a lot of damage here and slow down the French approach to the on this plateau. My Uhlans, my Voltiges are already ready here I actually wanted to deploy stakes over here in the front, but Lancer has so much cavalry that I am in risk of getting charged while deploying them, so I deploy them here, so I have a safe line somewhere. And Lance's units are arriving over here. He's double lining with militia and line infantry, and his lifeguards in the back secure his lines against cavalry charges. It's very chaotic. The first Swiss foot are arriving together with an old guard and the brave regiment attacking my Polish legions here in the center in the forest, and I do not have an old guard ready yet here in the forest. My first old guard is arriving now. Dinci has most of his army in reserve so far. He has some Hungarians fighting the French units, but you see they don't have a good line of sight. So for the moment I'm fighting basically the French army and a third of Lance's army. The 2/3 are stationary. I'm not sure why he decided to attack from this, or at least to deploy so many units down here and let FDF do all the work here in the center. Probably he wanted to attack from this side.
Our men are running, sir!
But if this was the plan, then he needs to do something very fast down here before his ally gets slaughtered by my better position. Some cavalry attack on my Polish legions. Once again, I have to retreat my my Polish legions here and my Voltiges. This is of course very bad because this is a very good spot for light infantry. You see there is a very good line of sight on all those line infantry units, while they have a very good line of sight on my troops over here. My Polish legions are getting
our general is under
completely
attack.
destroyed here, and FDF's old guard does a very good job fighting my Polish legions over here as well. My old guard in here is still around and fighting those Swiss foot and the Brave Regiment, which is down to 50 men already. I double line my Swiss foot and my Polish Legion and my second old guard here. But again, there is a cavalry charge of Lancer incoming. I have to form squares again, and I'm getting shot all the time, but he uses his militias in the front row and not his lifeguards. Only one, meanwhile, arrived, but the militias are, of course, a good unit for double lining, but not for making damage. And actually, he wants, since this is the only part of his army involved in the battle at the moment, he should have had units here which really do damage and assist his allied forces here, and I think this is not the case with those militias. So I try to stop him from reaching the forest, but FDF destroyed my units in the forest, and she still did not do much.
Our men are running, sir!
I retreated my old guard and the remnants of my Polish Legion of 44 out of there because I got completely destroyed by the old guard. Now the Swedish are coming over here, and I hope to stop them with some cavalry. I also deployed some stakes down here with my voltigeurs. So Dinci is here in the forest. It would have been great now seeing this that if he could have placed his two grenses covered by this house like this, flanking those French troops and shooting into the plateau area, because over here they don't have a good line of sight on much about only on this Polish Legion, but I think he's not shooting at this Polish Legion, he's shooting at the Fusiliers. So this is a bit problematic. Also the Landwehr unit, same situation as for Lancer. The Landwehr unit does not have a great firepower, and since this is the only part of his army which is involved in the battle, he needed to have if he double lines here, then he needs to double line with units which have good shooting stats, like the Emperor's Own, which are approaching now. So Lancer finally begins his attack on his right flank, and I don't have anything to fight him off here. Most of my cavalry units already died. He still has 4, so quite a lot. I only have my 2 Swiss foot here, and I'm getting overflanked by those mounted Jägers. I try to stop him with my remnants of my cavalry and deploy everything I have, but this is something I should have been prepared for, but I was very busy fighting the French units over here. But this second part definitely is not very well played by me. He charges into my formation here in the forest. He has a lot of line infantry and also lifeguards. I see the lifeguards and line infantry double lining over here and try to cover my Polish Legion as well as I can for the first volley, and now they are reloading, so I charge them in melee because the terrain really favors me, so I get a very good charge even on those squares and can do a lot of damage with my small unit against the higher numbers of those units. Dinci helps me with some Ulans. I did not use my old guard here for some reason, I don't know why. The Grances over here have a very bad position. They don't have any line of sight on anything and only shoot the Hungarians here in the back, but well, the good thing is that Dinci has most of his army intact. But yeah, obviously I'm outnumbered because of this, and I'm slowly dying. So the the Swedish cavalry here is still around. I do the same move again with my second small unit of Polish legions, but the Swedish are coming here in force with a lot of line infantry. Some Archduke Charles legionnaires and Hungarians down here formed the square, and the second as well, nice, and defend against the Swedish cavalry. But we only have the 18th Regiment of me facing those Swedish double lines here on the hill. Our Austrians are got broken here in the forest. The first Emperor's Own arrived here but did not intervene yet, and now again will be in front of the Grances, and I sent my old guard to help my 18th Regiment to kill those lifeguards, or at least stop them. And also I saved my other old guard with 44. Now Dinci does a counter attack with his Uhlans, and yeah, wants to shoot those units with his Archduke Charles Legion here in the forest. And the Czech regiment is also arriving to shoot the Swedish. The Czech are a very elite melee unit, so if possible you should try to position them somewhere where they can at some point, well, shoot some volleys maybe, or at least one, but then also have a good position for melee combat. So it would be wise to maybe place them here, or here in the forest, where the French units are out of ammunition soon and will charge in melee, or you can charge them in melee. But placing them down here is of course possible, but charging here in melee will end up in you charging uphill, which is of course not that nice. But doesn't matter, Dinci does a good job here in fighting off those Swedish units. My double line over here made a lot of damage against those lifeguards, and there is not much of a threat left from Landser. He has still some small units, but only small ones, and this 97 line infantry, and this 23 mounted Jägers, which apparently came back into the battle, but he saw them now. The Grances are still, well, not in a perfect position, since they have a really great firepower. So if you want to make damage within short time, you can move them up into a position very close to the opponent. Now he charges in melee, so he comes closer, so that kind of works now. The last units of FDF which were stationed here in this forest are arriving in the battle now, And I'm fighting the old guards, the second old guard of FDF, with my old guard. My second one died already, and the Archduke gets slaughtered over here. But
one of our units has used all its ammunition, sir.
Over here, the Lifeguard flanks Dinci's forces. But Dinci has obviously a lot of reserves left, and there is no way this attacker force here can still win against his units. The Kranzes are still behind the ranks of our troops and shooting our back.
One of our units
So you really need to watch the terrain and see what you're aiming for, but overall I think it's great that Dinci still has his Kranzes in reserve, and they can still do a lot of damage. I saw the mounted Jägers coming for my general, so I went uphill, and now I charge downhill, so I get a great charge on the mounted Jägers, and now also on the Swedish general, because I again charge downhill. By this, those two units are out of the game. I didn't lose much. The second lifeguard here and this one line infantry is still in position, but all those units are not big of a threat anymore. The Czech regiment is here with 93 now and gets charged. But I was able to charge my old guard with small numbers into the Swiss Foot and Fusiliers over here, and those are no match for my old guard in melee, even with such small numbers. So I'm able to do a lot of damage with this small unit still. And Dinci sent his Hungarians from his right side to overflank the French. There's still the old guard of FDF. I think both of his old guards did a lot of damage, but his cavalry did not. And I'm not sure about his lights. I don't think they did much. But overall,
sir, your general has been killed.
Overall, I think Lancer's push was a bit too slow. He sacrificed his ally to take or to fight for the important position. Lucky for them, Dinci waited very long to intervene in the battle with his main corps of the army. Still, he should have and could have attacked much earlier from this side, or committed his better troops, like his lifeguards, in his push here against my really weak garrison of this hill. So this is how we won the battle. We won 3-1 in this matchup against FDF and Lancer. They won on Oster Valley. This was a very chaotic game. This is why I didn't decide for this one, but for Pyrenees Peak, since Pyrenees Peak is also a very nice map. And I think I did not show any replay on this map yet. So, Lancer still did quite some damage. FDF, as I said, I think his old guards did a very good job. Dinci also did a lot of kills in the end. And yeah. This one was the old guard I charged in melee in the late game, so they got 2 upgrades, which is of course nice. The melee charge of those Polish legions downhill also gave them another experience. but my cavalry, of course, did not do so much, and my Vosges and Swiss foot here on my flank, where they were completely outnumbered, did not kill much either. But yeah, good game to the opponents, to Lancer and FDF, and yeah, it was interesting to play this kind of tournament with these new teams. So see you in the next video. Bye.